I have to say, for the marshals and the officials here in Italy, voi ragazzi siete I veri eroi questo fine settimana. That translates, you guys are the real heroes this weekend. Without them, we couldn't race at all, and we are very much indebted to the officials and marshals around the circuit. They've kept us safe, they've kept us secure, and everyone can take a bow on the officials and the safety crew staff. Without you, we are nothing. Thank you very much indeed for all of your hard work. Grazie mille. The 1 minute board goes up at the front of the grid, and the International KZ2 Super Cup will get underway for the 10th time. Who will join the Hall of Fame? Joey Hansen, Jordan Lennox-Lamb, Dorian Boccolacci, Ryan Vanderberg, Thomas Laurent, Pedro Hiltbrand, Alessandro Orlando, Matteo Vigano, and Emilion Denner have been there before. They know what it takes. For one of these drivers, the 36 men and women who have come to play on the circuit here at Lonato, the waiting is almost at an end. 30 seconds until they can blast around the temple of our sport. South Garda Karting. There are not many venues who could do a better job, and this is going to be a sensational playdown of the biggest race of the year for KZ2 drivers. On the inside line, Simone Cunati from the front of the grid. On the outside line, Matteo Zanchi. It might not be an all-Italian affair, but it's definitely got the flavour of the Italian drivers. Away they go. The formation lap begins. The 36 drivers that will contest the biggest race of the year for KZ2. Simone Cunati and Matteo Zanchi from Lorenzo Giannoni and Leonardo Marsiglia. Arthur Carbonell and Ben Tornfist from Giuseppe Palomba and Jean Luyet. Joey Van Spunteren and Alexander Dahlberg from Giacomo Polini and Harry Thompson. Alexander Schmitz and Sam Luyet from Alessio Lorandi and Alessio Pacini. Danilo Albanese and Nikita Artamanov, Hubert Petit and Victor Gustafsson, Paavo Tonteri and Marco Tormen, Slavik Putyatin and Daniel Vizil, Senna Van Waalstein and Davide DeMarco, Natalia Balbo and Filippo Berto, Filippo Calegalis and Massimo Dante, Leonardo Bisotto, Francesco Comanducci, Fabrizio Rosati, Matti Kakowski, Valentino Fritsch and Giuseppe Fusco. 25 laps, 2 formation laps around the circuit to explore what this circuit will give them. At the moment, it is sunny and dry, but those rain clouds overhead are starting to look fairly ominous. Whether it will cause an issue in this final is unlikely, but not out of the question. Simone Cunati has come so close in the past to winning this ultimate challenge. Even last year, he had a great chance of it, and now he will never get a better chance. From pole position, aboard his Birolart, the chassis that has definitely been the form maker in gearbox racing over the last 18 months. But now it is time to see what all of that hard work has been for. Everybody is pushing hard to make sure this is the race that they can claim as their own. For Matteo Zanchi, there is a bit of personal pride here as well. To put his own personal squad on the front row of the grid, he can be very proud of his achievements. Now he has the ultimate opportunity to take the title away from the big players. That's what we love about karting. It does not necessarily matter if you are in a big powerhouse of a team. You don't have to have factory backing. You just have to have the ultimate ability, the true racecraft, and the excellence of caliber. If you can win, you can dominate. There's a big problem, though, for one of the Formula Ks already out of the race. That is Leonardo Bisotto. Having brought the kart back to the pit lane, they're going to try and get him out onto the circuit. He does get back on circuit, but now Leonardo Bisotto is going to have to form up at the back of the grid, I'm afraid to say. So it's going to be a big problem for Leonardo Bisotto. He will return to the grid, but he will do so from last place, because, of course, if they fall out of position, that is what befalls the drivers. He's doing his best to return to position, though, I noticed. Cunati, Zanchi, Giannoni, Marsiglia, Carbonell, Tornfist, Palomba, Luyet, Van Spunteren, Dahlberg. The drivers are getting into their positions at the back end of the field, and the flag will drop, the lights will go out, and we will race for 25 laps at Lonato. Cunati on the inside, Zanchi on the outside. Who's going to win the 2020 International KZ2 Super Cup? We will find out later, because we have gone for a false start. As if the tension wasn't enough already, They are going around again for a second time, and I think it's to do with the hold-up with Leonardo Bisotto. So the drivers will go around again, as if the tension were not high enough. They now have to complete one more additional formation lap, and then they will return to their places on the grid once more. Simone Cunati, Matteo Zanchi, Lorenzo Giannoni, Leonardo Marsiglia, Arthur Carbonell, Benjamin Tornqvist, Giuseppe Palomba, Jean Louillet, Joey van Splinteren and Alexander Dahlberg, and that's just the top 10. Behind them, the likes of Pellini, Thompson, Schmitz, Sam Louillet, Lorandi, Piccini, Albanese, Artemanov, Pitti, Gustafsson, Tonteri, Torman, Putiatin, Vasile, Van Waalstein, DeMarco, Balbo, Berto, Caligaris, Dante, Bisotto, Camanducci, Rosati, Kakowski, Fritsch and Fusco. 25 laps of this circuit. It really is going to be an exceptional battle for the drivers here at Lonato. But only one of them can stand on the top step of the podium. Only one of them will hear their nation's anthem. Through they come for the main event. The challenge awaits each of these drivers, but they know how exciting and how tough this race is going to be. No matter what has come before, this will be the toughest race of the year. The toughest race of their lives. It's all or nothing now. 25 laps of the Temple of Karting. The final few drivers into their positions. Bisotto will take up his position at the back of the grid, having missed the original start. So now we will race for victory in the 2020 International KZ2 Super Cup. Now! It's a great start from Cunati, the perfect getaway. He launches forward. Good start too by Giannoni. As they come through to the first corner, Giannoni's got a terrific start. Up into third position from the grid. No, it's Arthur Carbonell. Carbonell's got the start in a second. Giannoni is there in third. Fourth place for Zanchi. He comes up the inside trying to get to third place. Can't get through. So a very tricky start on the grid. But it's the two CVB Sport Sony kart machines in second and third place, chasing after Simone Cunati. So Carbonell trying to find a way through on the inside of Cunati on this opening lap. Everybody's got through safely in the first two sectors of the race thus far. So Cunati hanging on to things in the lead here from Arthur Carbonell, the Frenchman, trying to come through. And it would be quite an exceptional performance, but out of the race is Ben Tornqvist. Tornqvist has come into the pit lane. So Ben Tornqvist appears to be out of it. That is devastating for the Swede. And his dreams of winning the title are over. So Ben Tornqvist, bitterly disappointed, the Swede. His day is over. What a shame. So back to the front. Cunati from Carbonell. Giannoni still third. Zanchi in fourth place. It looks as though there's been an issue for another of the drivers in the field. That is Alexander Dahlberg. The Swedes are having a horror show at the moment, as Dahlberg is going to come out of the race as well. I wonder if those two had an incident together, because Tornqvist has come in and now Dahlberg has as well. But up at the top five, it is relatively unchanged from the start. Cunati, Carbonell, Giannoni, Zanchi and Palomba. Then it's Pellini in sixth place in front of Leonardo Marsiglia as Dahlberg pulls in. So through they come again. And up at the front end of the field, Carbonell looking solid there in second place as he has a good of a run on Cunati. Up to third has come Zanchi, and up to fourth has come Palomba, and that's the lead of the race. Brilliant move from Arthur Carbonell. Carbonell gets into the lead there past Simone Cunati, and it's really well taken from the Sony car. So now Cunati needs to try and come back at him. But the problem is you've got to try and gauge the speed. You can't push the tyres or the engine too hard. It's a long race. It's a long, long way to go. And you can't just go ugly early. You have to measure your speed and your pace throughout. So Cunati's going to have another try and another run back at Arthur Carbonell. Down the main straight, Zanchi in third, Palomba in fourth. Fifth place is Giannoni, sixth place is the 107 of Marsiglia. And still they push forward. Then it's Pellini, Louillet, Schmitz. Schmitz is there in ninth place ahead of Albanese and Petit. Sam Louillet 12. Thompson, Vasile, Piccini, Gustafsson and Tonteri. The battle continues, raging all the way as the drivers continue their squabble in the midfield. Lots of overtakes, lots of good dukes for position, but out in front it's about the Frenchman, Arthur Carbonell, who wants to become the winner of the International KZ2 Super Cup. Sony car drivers have a history with this competition. 13 months ago, it was Emilion Denner in this very team, in this very car, who won the Super Cup. But can Simone Cunati get it away from him on his home turf? The battle is going to be absolutely exceptional. Cunarty's got a good run off the final turn. He may get the chance here up into turn 4. He's going for it, and Cunarty in the lead. Beautiful. Simone Cunarty back into the lead of the race, and now Zanchi trying his best. Carbonell defending. Up the inside comes Palomba. Palomba side by side now with Zanchi. But he shuts the door nicely. Zanchi holds the inside line for third. Great dueling in the mid-pack as well. But now it's a 4-man battle royale. Brilliant stuff as Zanchi tries again to get back on terms with Carbonell. A big dive on the inside. He goes for it. There's a yellow flag incident up the road, but I think he got there before the yellows. So we'll have to double check. But there's been an incident at the back of the field. Several karts in trouble. It looks to me like we've lost a fair few of them now, because we've lost Van Spunteren, Rosati, Dante. Oh, that's Zanchi! Zanchi in trouble! Matteo Zanchi falling down the order. Well, we've lost a whole collection of karts in a massive squabble at the back. Sam Luyet, Artemanov, Putyatin, Rosati, Van Spunteren, Dante and Fritsch. They've all gone as up the inside. Danilo Albanese loses ground and then gets it back again after a squabble from Schmitz. Now Zanchi back on the inside. Further up the road, it is a proper little squabble as there's the 112. That's Pellini. He's come up on the inside of Leonardo Marcellia. So he's through into 4th place now. An absolute tussle as several drivers are now stood on the sidelines watching. And there are only 27 left. We've lost Sam Luyet. We've lost Artemanov, Putyatin, Rosati, Van Spunteren, Dante, Fritsch, Dahlberg and Tornqvist. But Simone Cunarty is back in the lead and pulling away from the man in 2nd place now. Carbonell doing his best to stay with. Palomba now 3rd. 4th is Pellini and 5th is Marcellia. 6th position is another of the Sodi cards. That looks like the Renzo Giannone from Albanese, Zanchi, Petit and Alexander Schmitz in front of Jean Luyet and Daniel Vazil of Romania. And then it is Harry Thompson ahead of Victor Gustafsson, who makes his bid on the inside of Thompson in the middle section. He's now up to 12th. So there's Carbonell in 2nd, Palomba in 3rd. Still they duel away for position. Exceptional stuff in the front end of the field, but it looks as though Cunarty has bolted away. Pellini with the new fastest lap, trying to get close. 7 laps done, 18 to go. A long old race here in KZ2 in the International KZ2 Super Cup. So down to the braking zone again. Carbonell has the 104 of Giuseppe Palomba underneath him. Good move further back from Vazil. He gets the move on Jean Luyet in the hairpin. Yellow flags. There's been an incident up at the chicane. It's Harry Thompson. Thompson's gone. Thompson's gone, and he's not the only one. In there is Alessio Pacini. Alessio Pacini's gone as well. So Thompson and Pacini have come together, and it looks as though we've lost a few more. So 2 more have gone. Pacini desperately trying to get going again. But Harry Thompson is out, and it's a disaster for the Brit. His maiden weekend in FIA karting as a gearbox driver comes to an end. At least he made it into the high end of the grid for the final, but it's now all over. So Cunarty out in front, but this is the battle for 2nd place, and it's turning into a very fast train at the moment. The locomotive up at the front of it is Carbonell. The carriages are getting closer. They want to take the lead of it. Palomba makes the launch on the inside and gets in a 2nd. Lovely move from Palomba. So Palomba into P2. 3rd is Carbonell. Pellini 4th. 5th is Marcellia. Then it's Albanese and Zanchi. An incredible raft of talent in this fight for 2nd place. They're all trying to catch up to Cunarty, but they keep on squabbling with each other. They're going to lose ground. So Palomba with all sorts of pressure from the 3 drivers on his tail. Carbonell, Pellini. A bit of defense here from Palomba. I think he realizes that 2nd is all he's going to get. A launch on the inside from Carbonell and from Pellini, but they can't get close enough to the inside of Palomba to commit to the overtaking move. So it's going to be a tough battle as they continue on their way round. But the battle is still very intense indeed. As up the inside, Carbonell looks to protect and then defend against Pellini. Tough battles all around as Victor Gustafsson makes another place. That puts him into 10th position past Daniel Vazil. What a comeback from Gustafsson. He is charging forward. 10 places made up. Was 20th, now 10th. So Gustafsson charging forward. An incredibly intense battle as the drivers continue on their way round. Cunarty has a big lead. It looks as though he's got this in the bag, but in 2nd, Palomba. 3rd, Carbonell. 4th, is Pellini in front of Marsellia and Danilo Albanese in 6th place for the Kart Republic chassis. 7th place for Matteo Zanchi. And in 8th place, that is another of the CPB Sports. It's Hubert Petit, the Frenchman. Albanese tries again, and that's the move from Pellini. Pellini gets through on Carbonell. So Pellini makes the move there on Arthur Carbonell, and from further back, a big lunge from Marsellia. Good defensive driving from Carbonell. Not going to let that move get away. So they continue to charge forward. Cunati is your leader. 2nd for Palomba. 3rd for Pellini. It looks like it's going to be an all-Italian podium, the way things are currently playing out. On the far side of the circuit, Cunati comes into turn 5. Down the back straight goes Palomba. The gap is incredibly about 3 seconds between Cunati and Palomba. As up the inside, Danilo Albanese now takes on Carbonell and gets the place. Carbonell having to go defensive from Zanchi. Zanchi on the inside line. They're going to go side by side, and Zanchi has to bail out. Now he's going to try and attack on the inside of Carbonell. Drifts wide. Petit trying to come back in on Carbonell. Now he's going to force the issue on the inside, and round the outside comes the Sodi Kart of Giannoni. So Giannoni comes around the outside and takes a place or two. It is proper scraping stuff here in KZ2. And now side by side, Giannoni makes the move on the inside of Hubert Petit to close him off. We're on the half-distance lap of the biggest race of the year in KZ2, the International KZ2 Super Cup of 2020. Simone Cunati, 3 seconds clear of Giuseppe Palomba in the lead. 3rd place is Pellini. Looks like it's going to be an Italian 1, 2, 3. 4th place is Marsellia. 5th place is Danilo Albanese. 6th place is Matteo Zanchi. But closing up on the Sodi Karts is the European champion. Victor Gustafsson is getting himself in the battle in the 101. And that is Luyet. So Luyet comes off the circuit. That is going to be Sam Luyet, joined by Jean Luyet now. So a disaster for the Swiss brothers. They had a good chance in this one, but it's all come to nothing, I'm afraid. Cunati out in front. 2nd, it is Palomba, then Pellini, Marsellia, Albanese, Zanchi, and then we've got Hubert Petit. Victor Gustafsson trying to line up. First Carbonell, then it will be Giannoni. A fascinating battle from these guys as they continue to charge their way forward. A really strong tussle as Gustafsson makes the move on the inside. Oh, Tonteri squeezed a little bit wide there by Alexander Schmitz, who comes through in position. So a very tall order as the drivers come through once again. Simone Cunati running a good race up front. Palomba, Pellini, Marsellia, Albanese and Zanchi. A top 6 eclipsed by the home favourites. Italian 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6 as we now have 11 laps to go. And Palomba and Pellini are doing the best they can to try and close up on Cunati. But the Modena ASD driver has a comfortable advantage and he's absolutely lauding it. Here's Vazil on the inside line of Tonteri. Gets through. Nice manoeuvre. Tonteri trying to come back at the Romanian. But Vazil is defending well in the DR. The battle for 4th place now. Leonardo Marsellia and Danilo Albanese. Still they quest for position. A really solid run now for the drivers as they continue their charge forward. Cunati, Palomba, Pellini, Marsellia, Albanese. That's the top 5. It's looking pretty tight and twisty through the course of the field now. But Albanese charging in behind Marsellia. A good run from Carbonell and Petit, the 2 Frenchmen. Then it is Victor Gustafsson. He's got past Lorenzo Giannoni up into 9th place. He's made his way through half the field. 10 laps to go. Albanese trying to close in on Leonardo Marsellia. And it's been a really close battle up front. There's Zanchi, Carbonell and Petit, and then Gustafsson is behind. Unfortunate incident that's wiped out several drivers from the field. Further back, we lost about 6 of them in one incident, I think. Sam Lier, Nikita Artemanov, Slavik Putyatin, Fabrizio Rosati, Joey Van Spunteren and Massimo Dante. Oh, and Valentino Fritsch as well. So 7 of them in one incident. Unfortunately, I'm not sure we quite picked that one up. We'll certainly have a look back at it if we can. But it's a feisty incident up front for Palomba versus Pellini. And this is Marsellia versus Albanese. Senna van Waalstein now picks up the fastest lap. He's up into 11th place past Daniel Vazil. So he's trying to charge his way forward. And that's a good line from the Dutchman. He comes through into P11. So with 9 laps to go. Oh, that's 157 in. I'm afraid that is Alexander Schmitz, the German. So now there are only 24 drivers in this KZ2 final. Unbelievable, the attrition rate here today. As we've already lost 12 of the field. That is 1/3 of the field in KZ2. I can't remember a final quite like it. Now that incident earlier on, of course, cost us 7 drivers. So with the other 5 having incidents of their own as well, it's obviously the race everybody wants to win, but it's also, for those who don't think they can win it, the race they want to get their best battles out of. Here's Van Waalstein closing in on Giannone. Van Waalstein launches on the inside line. Thank you very much. That'll do nicely. I'll take the place away. Thanks, mate. And they are in the same stable, of course, the CPB Sodikart squad. And behind them, that looks like the 159 having made the move. That is Marco Torman having got past Paavo Tonteri. And now Daniel Vasil is doing as best as he can to get away from Lorenzo Giannone, because Van Waalstein got through and now Vasil has got through. But Cunati still running strong. The top 5 still running pretty clear. But it's settling into a nice rhythm up front. 7 laps to go. And this man is doing his best. Simone Cunati. He's saved the best till last. And he's running out in front. What a performance. Simone Cunati is one of those drivers who you could describe as always the bridesmaid, never the bride, and has always pushed very hard to come through. He was the vice champion of Europe this year. He genuinely felt he had a good chance of it in 2020, but he just missed out. But what a way to bounce back. It looks like Cunati, with 6 laps to go, is going to win the biggest prize in KZ2. And it couldn't happen to a nicer man in the paddock. Cunati is one of the ultimate heroes of KZ2. They plug on with their satellite squad, Modena ASD. He's good enough to drive for any of the factory teams, but he is a man of heart and a man of soul and character. And if he does this, if he gets the job done, it will be a very popular victory, not just in the world of karting, but in the world of motorsport. He's a lovely, lovely man, and he richly deserves this. Here's Palomba, still trying to fend off from Pellini. This is all about tyre management now, and also brake management. There are some very fast straights into some very big braking points. So you've got to look after brakes, you've got to look after tyres, and of course you've got to look after engine temperature. So many variables in this field. Cunati still running strong. Palomba and Pellini running a good race in the middle of the pack. So still a good run from Palomba. Pellini in 3rd place. Marcellia, Albanese, Zanchi, Carbonell, Petit and Gustafsson. Senna Van Waalstein now 10th. And up to 12th has come Marco Torman, in behind Vasil and ahead of Giannone from the 116. That is Filippo Berto, then Tonteri, Lorandi, DeMarco, Balbo, Katigaris, Kokowski, Bizzotto, Comanducci, Fusco and Pacini. They're the only runners left. And so with 4 laps to go, Simone Cunati just needs to control the pace and control the lead he's got. It's 2.3 seconds though. Palomba is catching Cunati ever so gradually. But Cunati doesn't need to panic. He just needs to keep the kart straight and narrow, fast and true. Palomba and Pellini can do everything they can to catch up, but I think they're going to run out of time. Van Waalstein gets the fastest lap of the race, and it's a sub 46, 45.993. A very quick lap indeed from Senna Van Waalstein. And he has caught up to the European champion, Victor Gustafsson, in fact. So they're going to battle away for position behind these guys. So it's going to be a fascinating end to the season. But Simone Cunati, who lost out on the European Championship, is going to take what is affectionately known amongst KZ2 drivers as the World Championship, although of course its official title is the International Super Cup. Here's Van Waalstein in behind Gustafsson, the battle for 9th place, the European champion versus the young pretender. Can Van Waalstein launch it on the inside? Well, Gustafsson's playing defensive. So Van Waalstein in up to 10th place, having made an incredible comeback, as has Gustafsson. They both fought well. But now they're having to race each other for the pride and the passion that they can go for it. Van Waalstein tries on Gustafsson, but he's so good in defence. He holds the car just a couple of inches across the racing line. Now he's going to dive for it. Lovely! Van Waalstein through into 9th. Brilliant overtake. It's not every day you pull a fast one on the European champion. But that's well done from Van Waalstein. He may not be able to get the podium, but at least he bows out on his own terms. fighting with his sleeves rolled up. Look at the car park at the second hairpin in the third sector. You've got all sorts of carts there, flotsam and jetsam after the earlier incident. But Simone Cunati has a lap and a half to go, about 1.8 kilometres, and then he will win the International KZ2 Super Cup. But he's got to keep it together. He can't afford a mistake. He can't afford to get this wrong. For everything to come together to win a title like this in KZ2, everything's got to be perfect. It needs to be just so. The engineering, the setup, the brakes, the tyres, the chassis, the steering, the brake bias, everything's got to be just right. And they've been working tirelessly over at Modena ASD to make sure that Simone Cunati has the tools to do the job. I bet their blood pressure must be sky high at the moment, because they must know how close they are to crushing the giants of this sport. When you go against the big factory teams, you've got a big task ahead of you. But Modena ASD and Simone Cunati are about to realise an incredible dream. You don't beat the factory teams every day, but Simone Cunati is going to remember this one for a hell of a long time. Out of the final turn, Simone Cunati is the winner of the KZ2 Super Cup. Beautiful! Simone Cunati is victorious at last. This has been such a long time coming. And now Simone Cunati finally is the winner. The biggest prize in the sport of KZ2 falls to the lovable Italian, Simone Cunati. And everyone is congratulating him. They know what this means to Simone Cunati. It's a big moment. Simone Cunati wins at last. Giuseppe Palomba second, from Giacomo Polini, Leonardo Marsiglia and Danilo Albanese. Matteo Zanchi in sixth place from Arto